the government.
What are you on about? They were in the 70 times road.
Maternity doesn't happen.
She didn't even work. She went work. You work.
Equality. That's what I was doing.
And that links to
They were at war. And no.
Right,
The Americans were at war with the
this
British.
is too slow.
He was working with the Americans.
Right. So, Washington also advises Hamilton the same. He goes, just be really mindful of the decisions you make, because when the spotlight's on you, and there's this song, History Has Its Eyes on You. It's a lovely song. And also you've got to remember that this musical was written like in the 2000s, but it's about the 1700s into the 1800s. So it's very much looking at it from a historical perspective, going, actually, history literally has its eyes on you. They're looking at everything you do. So George Washington is saying, be very careful at what decisions you make, and that's going to link to something that happens later on. Okay? Does someone have questions?
Is it a true story?
Yes.
Yes.
But I think they possibly could have
Embellished.
exactly.
Wait, is this actually artistic license?
Most of the big stuff that happens is true. Maybe not like things they say and stuff.
My hair looks so bad.
Yeah, the events.
Grass.
So,
Stop.
okay,
I'm joking, I
so
love you.
there's this battle
It's really long.
where
My mum really wanted me to cut them.
I'm getting bored of pants already. Tia, maybe. So the Americans and the British have this battle in Yorktown, and the Americans win, and King George is basically completely up himself. He's the King of England, and he's very much like, oh, you all need me type thing. But he's also a right bloody nasty piece of work, and he sings this song, You'll Be Back, and it's honestly one of my favourite songs from the musical. But he's vile, but he's brilliant. So, no spoilers. So, then Hamilton's son is born. So he has a son called Philip. Now, just so you know, Philip is also Eliza's dad's name. So it's like, you know how there's like generational, like you pass names down. So there's also that idea of like tradition and things like that there. The newborn is Philip, Philip Hamilton. But Eliza's dad is obviously Philip Schuyler, because Eliza was a Schuyler. Okay? So Bert also gets Theodosia pregnant. See, his little mistress.
Wait, say that again.
Bert gets Theodosia pregnant. So they
It's gonna be my new profile picture,
they both
me
have
and you.
kids at the same time. However, Hamilton's had it through marriage. He's followed the right path, but you know what I mean. Whereas Bert, exactly, has had an affair and he's got his mistress pregnant.
Kind of like good and evil, like duality.
My hair looks so
But
bad.
there's very much a lot of that during this.
Not
A
that
lot of
bad.
like what is the right choice type thing. Okay. So this is a minor thing that happens, but it sort of is the reason why things happen later. So, this next point. So after the war is over,
Copy my post.
John Lawrence, he basically becomes involved in a small battle, but the war's already been won, and he gets killed. And John Lawrence is one of Hamilton's close friends from university, and basically, it's very mentioned quite briefly. However, it's the reason why Hamilton then spirals, and he gets depressed, and he's grieving, and he throws himself into his work. Okay, so as we know, he's a bit of a workaholic. It gets worse now.
Is it in a duel or something?
No, not John Lawrence.
Oh, how does John Lawrence
War.
How does John Lawrence die?
No, that's
It
someone
says
else.
he's killed in a pointless battle. He's killed in battle.
Oh yes, I know, but they don't shoot.
They do. Yeah, shoot them.
It says, oh, right.
You can kind of see the overseas.
Don't worry. Don't overthink little details.
You do see a door.
So, the end of Act 1, the end of Act 1 happens over the course of a decade. So over the course
did
of
that.
10 years,
Oh, hello.
Hamilton and Burke
Copying
go to New
Hey, I
York.
did it
They
before.
work
There's
as lawyers.
evidence.
That annoys me, I haven't capitalised new. To work as lawyers. Hamilton works his way up. He gains a lot more influence, and he then gets selected as the Secretary of the Treasury by newly elected President Washington. So George Washington, General George Washington, is now the president. Okay. So that is Act 1. So there's a lot that happens. However, there's even more that happens in Act 2.
Is there only
Yes.
2 acts?
Yes, only 2 acts. Okay.
Let's go.
All of that happens in about an hour and a bit, like maybe an hour and 10 minutes, if that.
Best song is Cabinet
What was that
one.
I prefer
It's George Washington.
Evil. Was he saying the
Oh,
best
Washington.
It's like 1 hour.
Why are you shocked about? No.
No,
I've actually just realised. Is he the one that why the capital city name was?
Cabinet is.
Well, is it capital city? I don't know. Yeah, it is. Yeah, Washington DC.
You know, in America,
I'm retiring to the
So is that the reason why? I don't know. I think so. I don't know. Can we learn history and we don't know anything? Sucks to be myself, guys.
Right, moving on.
He.
Act 2. Act 2. We have other stuff to do. Right, Act 2. So, Thomas Jefferson. We meet Thomas Jefferson. Now, just to give you a heads up, the guy that plays Thomas Jefferson is the same guy that plays Lafayette in the first half. So there's multi-role, okay? And there's also another multi-role later that I will tell you when we get there, okay? Philip is also yours. Oh yeah, that's very true actually. Yeah, Philip, the kid, Philip Hamilton's kid, when he grows up, when he's like college age or whatever he is, isn't he? Like late teens or whatever, he is who played John Lawrence in the first act. We'll come to that one.
Actually, where stuff is 1700.
So, Thomas Jefferson, who is the US ambassador to France, I can never remember what his job is. He's this very flashy, look at me guy, it's great.
State Secretary.
No, I think he becomes state secretary. Oh yeah.
Secretary.
Yes, secretary. So he comes back to America, and Jefferson and James Madison, who's a new guy, I don't even know. People maybe even mention him. So James Madison and Tom Jefferson and George Washington maybe are all people that like very well known people.
What are we doing?
They're the founding fathers. Is what they're called.
Founding fathers, yeah.
They're basically the people
Right,
who.
listen to the American.
Basically, they're
Jess.
they're called the founding fathers. Basically, what it means is them and a couple other people are the main political creators of America, and they're people who basically wrote the Constitution, all this other stuff. They set up the country, and they're looked on as like the creators.
Yes, they like build the foundations of
Exactly.
America type thing. Right, he plays a big role. Okay, so as we know,
President.
Hamilton at the end of Act 1 has gained a lot of influence, has worked his way up again, and he's like giving proposals to the cabinet. So like, how did you describe the cabinet? They're like
This is like
a group of men that make the decisions.
yeah, it's like a president and his advisor.
Yes. So basically, Hamilton proposes, and he proposes many things. We won't go too far into that. But Jefferson and James
Send it to me
Madison go
afterwards.
against
I
him.
will.
So again, Hamilton works through summer. Why he works even when Eliza and Angelica go and have a holiday during summer, he stays at home and he works. And that's when he meets Mariah Reynolds, which is spelt Maria, but it's said Mariah Reynolds. Yes, it's have you ever met a man called Mariah? So naughty boy, another theme of affair coming up.
Ooh.
He then has a
Song is so true.
it's one of the best songs.
One of
in
my
the-
dress.
Yeah.
Oh!
It's, yeah. If you're a girl, you'll really fangirl over it. But anyway, not like the affair, just like how they do this number. It's like so beautiful on stage. They insinuate they have sex, but yeah, they do literally say, oh, sorry, she led me to the bed and let my legs spread.
Stay. Stay, dog.
It's like, oh, okay. So basically, they begin an affair. Mariah Reynolds portrays herself as this helpless woman, and I will come to the helpless thing in a little bit because that's kind of a bit of a repeated thing. But then Mariah Reynolds' husband, James Reynolds, rocks up and he goes, haha, you're screwing my wife. Well, if you want me to keep it a secret, you're going to have to pay me. So Hamilton pays him.
He could just stop and continue.
Yeah. He says, if you want to keep seeing my wife, you'll have to pay up. And he goes, okay. Which is the dumbest thing ever. But obviously he then goes to Mariah and is like, what the hell? And then they end up staying together again for months and still continuing the affair. Yes, Hamilton was a kid, and he's working.
Yeah, working on that.
Yeah. Okay,
Well
so
then, Zach.
back at work. So this is what Hamilton's going through. So Hamilton, Jefferson, and Madison, they come back together.
Emo
They reach a
style.
compromise over the thing they disagreed with earlier. However,
Wait, that's all.
Burr
Yeah, it's a lot.
Burr is very jealous. Jealousy, envy. Burr is very jealous of the way that Hamilton can like sway people. He can make them doubt themselves and he can make them listen to him. So Hamilton, so then Burr gets basically sick of it. Burr basically gets sick of it and he switches political parties. He goes, screw you, Hamilton, whatever. I'm gonna go for the other team then. So he basically switches parties and runs against Hamilton's father-in-law, Philip Schuyler, for a chair in the Senate. Okay, in the Senate. So the Senate is like the higher part of the Congress that make the decisions for the country.
Yeah, it's like Congress is like the Parliament,
Yeah.
and the Senate is like the teapot.
House of Lords.
Yes, sort of like that.
I thought you said everyone only knows it because of classics. I was like, I don't think so.
I know that because of classic.
Yeah, so Congress is so.
Paul
Right,
knows-
Jacob, so listen
Paul
to
knows
Paul
being
explain.
American is
So-
not just to know about history.
Paul knows how the government works in America is my point. So Congress to you is like government, right?
Yeah.
So what would you say
It's
the state
it's
is?
weird.
So
It's
Senate.
not quite the same because like it is the same, but it's not quite the government.
It's like the governing
there's
body
different
type.
branches of it.
Okay.
So Congress is it's like Parliament, and then
Okay.
the Senate is like
House of Lords?
The MPs.
Yeah.
Okay.
it's like
So it's like select few people.
Yes.
type thing? Okay, cool.
it's like
Stupid bar.
It starts like this.
basically yeah.
Yeah, okay, perfect, thank you. They just correct me if I'm making wrong, so I don't know. So basically, Burr beats Philip Schuyler to this seat, okay, this chair, in the Senate, okay? No, he just wins the election. He wins the election, basically, against Philip Schuyler. Okay, so,
And I don't
blah,
know.
blah, blah. Jefferson and Hamilton
Grandma.
argue over whether the US should assist France. President Washington agrees with Hamilton.
By the way, I hate that.
See how much influence Hamilton has, okay? That they say, no, the US should just remain neutral. Don't side with anyone in this situation.
No, do you know why I like
And
that?
then?
You know that lady in the yeah, I can't remember what she does. In the war, some American general goes on to France. He's like, this is for you, Lafayette.
Are you okay?
Did you understand what I said?
No.
Okay, so,
Yeah.
do you know about this?
I don't know. I know what you're saying. I know about like Lafayette though.
Because obviously you didn't have Lafayette, yeah, with the war, France, but
Basically,
later on,
Lafayette
like later on
is
in the
a
war, who said that? I can't remember, but it's an American
who joins the
general
American
goes along
rebellion.
with the British and goes to the war and goes to the war.
And basically fights for America.
No.
Oh, that's why I don't know
So
what you're on
apparently
about.
it's just
Remember that
random
happening?
phrases,
Oh,
and then just the same thing.
So,
Cute.
after this, Jefferson, Madison, and Burr joined forces
Ooh.
to find a way to discredit
Supernatural.
Hamilton. Basically, they go, do you know what? I'm sick of this bloke. He's got too much influence. He's got too good of a reputation. We need to find a way. Surely he's done something wrong that we can discredit him for. We can basically find something bad he's done. Okay?
Oh, baddie.
Exactly. So,
Oh, I see that. That's
Washington then
sweet.
retires because you don't always just do it your whole life. King George hears the news that he will be replaced by John Adams, and he's shocked. And John Adams immediately fires Hamilton. Alright? Sucks to be him. John Adams. Why? Because he's just like, I'm having my own new government. You have too much power, I don't like you. You've also got to think, like, of parties and stuff, they very much have disagreements. So if a new party comes into power or a new president and stuff, they can just get rid of the old people, right? It's like President Trump just getting rid of anyone and everyone. Good old Trump. Okay, so in response to that, Hamilton publishes a critique of the president, Adams. So then Jefferson, Madison, and Burr, sorry, the names are really hard, basically confront Hamilton, and they go, we know we've got some dirt on you. You spent all this money. And they go, you were embezzling money, it's fraud, you've taken money from the government. And he goes, no I didn't, I just had an affair. And he tells everyone by publishing the Reynolds pamphlet. So he basically publishes a paper that says, I had an affair with this woman, I never did anything illegal or against the government, to keep his reputation. Because they go, well, you spent this money, it's on your record, you don't have this money. No. He spends the money on James Reynolds, right? He pays off James Reynolds, and he gives Mariah Reynolds money. So they go, where are you getting all this money from that you're paying these people? And they go, well, you must be getting it from the government, you nicked money from the government. So to protect himself, he goes, no, it was my own money, I just had an affair. Because he has to prove where the money went.
Take a picture.
Oh. So in doing so, he ruins his reputation. By saving his reputation, he ruins it. Good old Hamilton. Because he paid. So Mariah Reynolds went, oh, my husband's left me. I need money to survive. So he gives her money, and then they start sleeping together. And then James Reynolds rocks up. You've been sleeping with my wife.
Do you think he was like
Give him money, and he gives him money.
No, do you think it's a setup?
Yeah, they infer it's a setup, but you never really find out if it is. She plays the whole. I didn't
Wait, your wife's name? Me?
It's
Oh.
like, yeah. So it's implied that maybe it was a setup, but you never find out for certain.
But why would you have
Tic Tacs.
why?
I've got this big box filled with mini boxes of Tic Tacs. Oh yeah. Well, I used to get some in Singapore. Yeah, I get them in the airport. And the orange ones. Oh, I've got some. It's on my hand because I'm bringing it in tomorrow. As long as I get the box back. No problem.
So he publicised.
I only want the things inside. I don't want anything else.
Guys, look.
I don't like the orange ones.
Money, but I didn't get it from government. I got it to pay for my affair. Blah, blah, blah. And he publishes that without telling his wife. So his wife finds out via the Reynolds pamphlet that gets brought to her door or handed to her in the street or however it gets given to her. I can't remember. And then it ruins his relationship with Eliza.
Wait, so the Reynolds pamphlet was so James Reynolds was a newspaper?
No, I think they call it the Reynolds pamphlet. Because it's about the Reynolds. Hamilton publishes it called the Reynolds pamphlet.
Oh, okay.
So then Eliza has this lovely song Burn, where she burns all the letters that he wrote to her, because she basically goes, do you know what, screw you, I'm going to erase myself from this narrative, which she literally sings. And she, no.
Burns older by this.
The child is much older, but no, she doesn't burn the child. She burns the letters that he wrote to her, and she reads them and she goes, where did you stop loving me and start having this affair? But she can't really work it out. She just says everything you did was to protect yourself and protect your reputation. So she burns all the letters. We're almost there. So Hamilton's son graduates college, and then because people are basically,
Because Hamilton's arrogance, basically, his son died.
yeah, but because of Hamilton's affair, he basically gets disgraced, and then someone's basically taking the mick out of Hamilton when his son's at college, uni. Philip, the kid, who's not a kid by this time, he's in university, so he's grown up, but not, you know, still young. He basically goes, don't talk X about my dad. I challenge you to a duel. Now, a duel is something that happens earlier on as well, but it's not super important. But a duel is basically this thing where you can challenge and then you can either fire at each other, fire up. You basically have to gauge the situation, but it's illegal in this place that they go to. Again, not relevant yet, it's not relevant.
Holman, what's a duel? Do you know the ins and outs of a duel?
Well, basically, you like walk a certain distance away,
Yeah.
and then you count down, and you have to like turn around.
Turn around and shoot, or they don't shoot.
Yeah. And you basically, one person they're injured or killed, and that proves that they're the other person can right.
So,
Yeah, sort of. Yeah. It's like I killed the other guy, therefore I'm correct.
yes. So it's basically like, let's settle this, that, like, it's either live or die. So they don't just have an argument, they don't just have a fight, they go, either we shoot or we don't shoot, or whatever, we'll see. Okay? And then if you kill him, whatever, it's over. If you don't, we leave it and we move past it type thing. Okay? So it's kind of like, well then they're both done, that's that. But it's a risk you've got to take, okay? So then Philip says, I'm going to challenge you to duel, and Philip gets shot and dies. So Alexander's child has died, okay? Which obviously brings back Alexander and Eliza together.
Where's your microphone?
Obviously after some
I
time,
know.
but they're grieving.
Where's
Yeah,
my
so
dad?
grief.
I put reconciliation.
And then, guys, we're on the last bullet point. Yes, reconciliation, good. So, last two bullet points. Hamilton endorses Jefferson over Burr. So, in the 1800s presidential elections, Hamilton, everyone wants Hamilton's opinion because they know how much he knows. They know how influential he is. They know that he knows what goes on in government and stuff. In Congress. And they're like, we want your opinion. Who should we choose, Burr or Jefferson? And he goes, choose Jefferson. So he betrays Burr, even though he's known him longer than most people.
Wait, Hamilton?
Hamilton. So Hamilton endorses Jefferson. He basically goes, Jefferson will be getting my vote, which means lots of other people would choose Jefferson over Burr.
Hamilton's not a very good person, is he?
Yeah, but if he thinks it's the right, option, however, is he doing it because he thinks it's the right option, or does he just not like Burr?
These noises are horrible.
Right,
I know. I'm like,
Burr then goes, do you know what, I'm done with this, I challenge you to a duel. So then they do have a duel, and it's this beautiful moment, like the whole musical is just, there's some beautiful moments in it. And Burr then shoots Hamilton, and Burr basically reflects that now he won't be remembered as anything other than the person who killed Alexander Hamilton. Yeah, so then that's when he sings the world's wide enough for the both of us, or whatever.
I know, but Hamilton and me.
Yeah.
Already killed it.
And he was like, yeah, but he's reflecting, he's like, I
blown
really
in the
wish
camera.
I realised that the world was big enough to have the both of us in it.
but it doesn't look that light in real life. Yeah.
Yeah, well, people make mistakes.
Because I think it's because of the light.
So at the end,
Because your hair looks more
there's like
ginger
a series of
in real life.
everyone says what they've done, everyone reflects.
But I kind of want to make my hair like really orange. Really bright.
Really? Has one of the
No, like
nicest
not
moments
ginger
where
orange,
she says how she doesn't want to erase herself
I
from
know, just
history. She actually
like a
wants
really
to do
bright
good
one. I'll show you
with like
the
the
the same colour as
that
that
her
one.
family has. So she says
Brighter.
how she wants to record the memories of veterans. She wants to raise funds for the Washington
Yeah,
Monument.
kind of the
She
photo
speaks
one.
out
Kind of.
against slavery, and she establishes the
Maybe
first
not-
private
maybe not that
orphanage.
light.
Who was an orphan?
Hamilton.
In New York City. So it's actually like
NYC.
it's upsetting, but it's actually a really nice ending that like almost some good came from it kind of thing. So that is an overview of Hamilton, and it's good for you to know, just an overview. Don't worry about the legal stuff, like who writes these letters and what he's writing about, because it's become very
Wait, erase herself from what?
I can't get my head around exactly what he's writing.
Narrator.
But as long as you have an overview of like the characters and their relationships, okay? And then Wednesday we're going to do a script lesson. So these are your scripts.
No new script. Yeah, Jess.
Wednesday